Hello and welcome back to Exchanges, the Alex Martin podcast. Today's guest is quite simply in a league of his own. We can't wait to get to know him. Please welcome Tom Castro.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite. Nice to be here.
Tom or Thomas? What's the birth name?
Thomas.
Thomas. Thomas, is it pronounced Huzu or Wuzu?
To be honest, you call it what you like. We call it Huzu.
Huzu.
I've always called it Wuzu.
Yeah.
Until you actually read it.
It does sort of say,
Huzu.
it works both ways. How often do you get Wuzu?
Every day. But so we spelt it differently originally. So it was Huzu.
Mm.
And then, remember we hadn't even launched. We got a cease and desist letter from Hulu, you know, the app. So they must have had a trigger set on a trade. I think we tried to trademark it. And then we got all these letters. And foolishly, I was like, well, I'll spend a bit of money with a lawyer trying to fight that. And the lawyer was like, after $3 or $4 grand, he was like, mate, just change the spelling. Just move on.
I quite like it. It's quite ringy.
Yeah, it's good branding.
Well, I just thought do something a little bit different. Everything's quite samey, isn't it, in what we do, and just.
And how much time did you put into that sort of thing to come up with that brand, and then all of a sudden you can't utilize that name that you've come up with?
At the time, I was gutted.
Really?
Yeah, because we'd had it all. It was all there,
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that recent? How long ago was that?
But way before we launched. Probably, we were running. Well, this was going on probably a year before it launched, or maybe even longer, maybe 18 months, 2 years before we launched it. So I was running city and counties at the time, but always putting a bit of time and effort into doing this. So way before it launched, probably a year before it launched, we were dealing with that stuff.
And did you make a conscious decision to not be your sort of traditional name? Like I don't know, Elephant or something, Elephant Insurance. Is it the same idea?
100%. Yeah, 100%. It wasn't like sort of wasn't doing it to try and be like overly different, but the concept started with like, we want to try and work with these kind of self-employed model as opposed to traditional model. Let's see if we can do it where we can promote ourselves as the who's who of the SME commercial agency industry. Kept saying it, who's who. And he's saying,
that's cool.
You know, when you're from Lewisham, it's who's who. And then I thought, actually, that's probably sounds all right. Write it down, different spellings, and then kind of just stuck there. But that was early. Got landed on that super early. Obviously with a different spelling, but
So how comes? Sorry to talk so much about the name, but it is quite cool. How comes you've got a period instead of a question mark?
they're on trend, aren't they? They're like, it's just having the little
Looks
dot.
cleaner.
I think we just copied a load of other companies who've got it.
Yeah, okay. And Al, how comes you wanted Tom to come on the pod? And, you know, you got a lot of people that want to come on, and I know that you were talking about getting Tom on specifically. What made you want to get him on?
You're a little bit of a legend. I've never met you. And a very, very different concept. So I wanted to find out more.
Good as you called me.
And
Boring.
Yeah.
what is Huzo? What is it?
Well, in order to answer that, let me go back a little bit. So I was running I'd set up a commercial agency that was a traditional local agent, Southeast London and Kent, Surrey, Sussex, I guess, and that was quite effective. It was doing okay. So the idea was then to open up another branch. So we looked at an office in Guildford, and essentially we're going to sort of pin the corners of the M25. I do appreciate it's a circle, but and then sort of go from there, little branches of SME commercial agents. And
Sorry, what's SME?
oh, sorry, small medium enterprise. So like specifically focused on the lowest end of the market.
Yeah.
So not trying to do stuff in the West End, not trying to do £20 million deals that are nice if they come up, but it's not really what we do. And it took me a while to get to grips with that. Everyone wants to do the biggest deal they can, right? But we were so good at generating volume really consistently. And to be honest, for the first part of it, I was like pushing it back. Like, it's all small stuff. I'm not interested in it. And then realized actually that's the business that I had. But then when we sort of looked at the numbers on, okay, so let's say I wanted to grow that nationally, which was what I wanted to do. Let's say 20, 25 branches. That's 20, 25 leases, branch managers, however many staff. Super expensive, massive headache. I spend my life on the M25, or I spend my life going up and down the motorway, and just not the business I wanted, having like put a load of energy into doing that. So then just started to look at other alternatives, got really set on like national brand, lowest end of the market, like constantly. National brand, lowest end of the market, believing that there's an option to do that. And basically, what was the sort of most effective, cost-effective, cheapest way of getting that service out there? Well, why don't we work with self-employed agents as opposed to paying them a wage? And then actually, they're also super incentivized because they're on a high commission structure and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of people will say, "Oh, that's the company who does like the self-employed stuff." That's secondary to me. That's not the business as far as I'm concerned. It's about national brand, lowest end of the market. That's the most important thing for me. How we do it, doesn't really matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the route that we believed in or believe in when we launched, and we tested it for the last year of city and county. So we didn't announce that we were doing it, but basically said to the agents, "We're going to convert you over to no salary, self-employed. You run your own diaries now, but you're on 50% of any of the deals that you
And
do."
how big were you then? How many employees or how many
we had
people went out?
4 agents and a
Yeah.
couple of ops staff at the time.
Okay. All right.
You said it was quite an American model. Is that your inspiration?
100%. Yeah. And like Europe does a bit of it, UAE. Like,
Yeah,
I think
Dubai, I think Dubai's making
yeah,
commission.
I think it might be the UK that sort of is the only one
Lagging
that
a bit
doesn't
behind a
really
little
do
bit.
it.
And how did the agents take that when you
I
put that in front of them?
communicated it to them. I wasn't going to do it and then lose the agents and like talk to them about it. And you get some flexibility around how you work. You don't have to be here at 8:30. You get to earn more if you're banking. Obviously, it doesn't work for everyone.
No.
So there were some people it just simply didn't work for straight away. But I could have told you that before. So
So it's a franchise.
very, very close to it. It's the easiest answer for me says yes, but it's not actually a franchise contract that they sign. It's a license agreement.
Mm.
So, sorry, when you say license, so is there areas you get Southeast, you get North London, or how does the
we
license
launched on
work?
that basis, but
Yeah.
what we realised is it's not like Resi where like they want their little postcode patch. There's obviously people who are like, so Nathan, who
Yeah.
lives in Croydon, does a load of business in Croydon.
Mm.
If leads come into our business, we'll give them over to Nathan in Croydon because it
Yeah.
just makes sense. Equally, Nathan will have leads or he'll have stock to sell in like Birmingham because that's the client who he had some stock in Birmingham, but they wanted to work with Nath.
Yeah.
Version 1 of the business would have been, well, Nath, actually, you've got to pass that over to the guy in Birmingham. Doesn't work.
It's so hard when you got clients. You just want to deal with them no matter where it
100%.
is, and
Yeah, I
you
don't want
just-
to take that.
So how do you deal with the politics of that then?
There isn't any.
No?
No one cares. Everyone's cool with it. Like,
That's what they sign up for.
Are you Mother Teresa? I mean, do they come to you and complain at times and you sort it out as a referee at times?
No, never
No?
had it. Never had it.
Wow.
It's what we realised.
You've never had any like I should be entitled to this amount of money or
Not for territory reasons. If agents do deals together and there's splits, yeah, of course, there's that kind of stuff. But that's nothing to do with, well, I'm the guy in wherever, because everybody has the benefit. So if you're the guy in Birmingham, you also have the benefit. If you have a client who's got stock in London,
Yeah.
the guys in London won't moan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's your client.
And how's your role changed? Because clearly, City and County's traditional agency, I presume you were still involved in the agency day to day. Is
Yeah.
that the case now, or
Not
it's-
really. Only with, I guess, people that I've worked with a long time.
Yeah.
Probably, I've done, I don't know, 15 years of agency, and there's people who it wouldn't be right for me to allocate them over. I'll often bring in some of the other agents and say, "This is John. I'm going to keep the comms with John because I've known him a long time, and I don't want John to feel like I've just palmed him off.
Yeah.
But you can help me." So I do bits of that, but my role like massively changed. Like I say this to like agent friends of mine, like if you came and watched what I do, it's not agency work. Honestly, I spend most of my time like playing around with the platforms that we've got that we use in order to like allocate leads to agents or manage that process. And it's like I don't know. It wouldn't be like any agency business that you've seen. And I don't mean that as like to brag.
It's
I mean,
just-
it's just
it's
a
just a
really
different
different.
model,
Yeah,
isn't
it's just
it?
completely different.
How many agents? How many agents are there?
We've got 25 at the moment.
Whoa.
But that's across obviously a load of areas, different relationships. Some are like what started to happen was we used to get, we were getting opportunities in areas where we didn't have agents. And so we then cultivated some of these relationships with people who were like, let's say, retired or semi-retired. So they're not going at it 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. But when we have an opportunity, we'll allocate it to them and they can deal with it because they know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's 25, but that's not, as I say, it's not 25 every day of the week.
Day in, day out.
No.
You were quite curious about the database.
Yeah. How does that work? Is it a one that everyone can plug into, or are you now you get this, or how does it work? How do you search?
How do you search for?
So like, is
What
it
buy-
like
are you
lead
talking about buyers?
generation? How
Yeah,
does,
you get an instruction in Croydon, you get instruction in Birmingham.
Is
I
it
want
all
it
the
out
same
to the
pot?
database.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, we manage all that.
Okay.
We can also do
Who's
it.
we?
Me in the ops team. So like, not agent team.
Right.
People sat in an
So
office.
Who's we?
can
That
they
was right.
search, or do they just
That's a
with
bit
that-
aggressive.
Yeah.
with that
We-
database? Is it all right? I get the idea that I've got this instruction. I come to you, you ping it, you ping the property out to the
Mhm.
database. But we work our data, we'll canvas it. Can they log in and canvas and go down it and see what's there? And how
Yeah.
do you protect that and say, oh, you've got access for this, or is it completely open to all your agents?
They don't have access to everything. They have access to all of the inquiries that have come on that is relative to the stock that they've had.
Okay.
If they've seen other stock that agents has had and they think it's sort of relevant,
Okay.
then we can send them that happily. Or we
Okay.
do send it to them happily. So they'll request it and say, I've got something similar to what they've had. Can you send me the inquiries that came in on that? So we'll send them that.
Okay.
But if we've got 30,000 people on the list, we don't really want everybody having that the whole
No.
time. It's not helpful. Also, it's a lot for them to have. It's almost too many.
Yeah. How many? Go on.
About 30,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And I
yeah.
presume the
Yeah.
risk. I mean, they're a self-employed model. Someone gets their hands on that, the wrong person. You've just given that database
Yes.
away.
How much
to
did you say that
someone's-
database is worth?
I've no idea. I've never, no idea. Wouldn't even have a clue how to value it.
You don't want to try and monitor. That's your business. Why
Yeah.
would you try and monetize it? It's
Have
too
you?
hard.
Do you have
We're
people? who's-
peppering questions.
Sorry,
No,
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 that's
it's
fascinating.
okay.
It's unique. So, would you have agents that started with you and then gone, okay, I've got going, I know I'm good at what I'm doing, then they've gone off and set up on their own, or they stayed loyal?
We haven't had anybody do that. Obviously, we've had agents leave, of course, but we
Yeah.
haven't had anybody sort of get themselves up and running. I think that they would say, and I appreciate this doesn't go forever, I think they'd say that we create a lot of value for them.
I was going to say, if they haven't gone off to set up on their own, that
Yeah, there must be
actually
a
says
reason
you're
why.
adding
Yeah,
true
100%.
value, and it works. And the ones who have come and gone just weren't good agents.
Fully agree on that basis.
Okay,
Yeah, and
alright.
and listen, there's certain people. You have to be a certain person, I think, for the model to buy into it. And it's like you give people flexibility, and some people will take the piss. Now,
Yeah,
the irony is it's taking the piss sort of on themselves because
Hindering
it's
themselves,
it's their stuff, but it's not for everyone.
Do you have a responsibility in terms of additional social media, marketing, account provide? What services do you give them?
Specific to the social media stuff,
Yeah.
we give a reasonable amount of training, I would say, or guidance. We can't make them do it. We can encourage them. Obviously, I think I lead from the front in terms of I use it and I post and all that stuff, which I don't use any other social media. I don't use anything personally. Most people don't. They don't want to do it, and
I mean, speaking from experience, us doing this, it was like a pain in the arse. And then you do one and you get comfortable and it becomes less monotonous.
it's the like way of the world, isn't it now? And I think my view is you either embrace it or you sit and you'll have exactly the same, right? You sit behind and people will go, why the fuck are they doing that podcast thing? What a waste of time. Aren't they out there doing deals?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that those people in 2 or 3 years' time will be doing their own version.
Yeah.
And
Because you see everyone you're on the train, everyone's on their phone,
But
everyone's
also,
watching.
those same people that probably have those opinions, when we were in MIPIM, everyone's come up to us, oh, you're the podcast guy. So they still recognise us, and that's
Yeah.
what it's doing.
and desperate for you to invite them on, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And the thing is, for us, we're sat here, we've got a lot on the go at the same time.
yeah.
I mean, we could, these 3 hours,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
we could be spending it elsewhere
Is it
and
3
trying
hours,
to
is
put,
it?
well,
Nah, travel
out
there,
the
travel
day,
away.
but travel
Yeah,
like
of
here
course,
and there.
yeah.
That 3 hours out the working week, things go so quickly. I
Yeah.
mean, Friday comes and it's like, where's the week gone?
But-
So for us, it's 3 hours out the day. It's a lot of time, but we see the value in something like this to grow the brand.
Well, it's like-
and
Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you. I
that's
keep
all right.
interrupting. It's like, would you rather have a billboard on a motorway that people just drive past and forget about, or would you rather have 20 posts on LinkedIn that you can watch and watch it again and watch it again and go on the page and fall in a rabbit hole? It's the sign of the times.
people interact as well, and that's a good thing. You're getting instant responses.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whereas like a billboard, I mean,
Yeah.
you might get 1 call a month or 100 calls a month, but it's in front of people instantly. So I
And
think it's got its place.
it's different because if you look on LinkedIn, it's usually, hey, I've got this new property, or hey, I've completed on this purchase, and it's
Yeah,
just
it's a little bit
something
interactive. It's like
different,
people can watch it, and
Yeah.
Going back to the model being American, which you admitted that it was inspired by an American model. Were you in America and you saw this somewhere and you just thought, bang, gap in the market, or how did you come across it?
No, I suppose the point. So what I did was, so at the point we had city and counties, and that office was doing fine. It was like we had some good people and we had some not very good people. When I say not very good, I mean along the worst possible like agents you could imagine.
Like you, Matt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
Someone comes in, processes. It's like a 9 to 5.
No.
not
I'm
even-
talking. What you think is a soft drink after 3 months turns out to have booze in it,
Yeah.
and like I'm talking all of that,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the worst, that people turn up with their partners to
Wow.
meetings. I had like all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Sorry, the original firm. You're gonna have to cut this bit out. What's the firm? City and
City and counties.
All right, yeah. So let me go again.
No, don't, because that's really important.
Yeah.
So people get Whoozoo and Woozoo
Yeah.
wrong, right? There's 2 margins for that. Whoozoo, Woozoo. City and counties. Like my family couldn't even get that right. My wife couldn't get that right. It's like capital and counties, capital and commercial.
Well, there are other companies, aren't there?
Well,
out there?
exactly,
Yeah.
but this is my point. So, and to be fair, I sort of branded that way, like really boring intentionally, because at the time, what I wanted to do was like slot into the market, make it feel really familiar, like, you know, and this is probably 10 years ago now. And we did that, except no one could get the name right because it was so boring that it was like everything else. So
I appreciate you saying that. So you set that up. I mean, who was there? How did that happen? Because we're going to get back to this, but you're from Acorn Stock,
yeah,
which
La Masia.
it just
I feel
keeps
like
coming
everyone
around.
we've had on the pod.
Yeah.
Acorn.
And even if they're not on the pod, you know, there are legends out there like Ross Kemp and people like that. Yeah. So I've always thought of it as the best place, training ground. So you're from that stock. So did you leave from Acorn to go and do your own thing? How did that go?
Yeah, so I did the real estate degree at Reading.
Okay,
Smart
boy.
And
that's the usual
Yeah,
start.
The Oxford Cambridge place to go to.
Into
for a
the-
go.
yeah.
Well, and the general thing is you go and become a surveyor after that. And I did various internships at the bigger like surveying practices. Just didn't like it. Wasn't for me culturally. Just not what I wanted to do. And then met the guys at Acorn. And it was full on in a good way, as in like get stuck in, do deals straight away. I wasn't interested in being an RICS. That just wasn't for me. Did that for a couple of years, and then just thought, why not? Like, was young enough to get out there and just try, and you know,
That's ballsy though. I mean, and how did Acorn feel about you leaving?
you'd have to ask them. I'm not sure. I mean, they were fine about it, and like, I mean, obviously, I leave and become a competitor, but to be honest, at that time, so what I set up was essentially an acquisitions business. So had no intention of like putting boards up and all that stuff. In fact, I specifically did not want to do that. The irony of me now having Whoozoo, which is like trying to do as much of that as possible. But at the time, it was like, had a handful of clients. Let's say combined, it was like, I don't know, if I could spend every penny that those clients had over the year, it'd be 50 million or 100 million's worth of land. So I'm like, this is all I have to do is buy these guys land. And it was easier then, like land insight wasn't a thing. So if you as an agent created an opportunity, like you had genuinely created that opportunity. Whereas now it's like landowner gets 50 letters, they're all identical. So it's completely different. Whereas that was like genuine knocking on doors and all that kind of thing.
The good times.
Chris said he worked at Acorn.
Yeah.
Was he there to say, is that how you know Chris?
Yeah, I introduced him into the business. Yeah, Chris and I, so he went to uni with good pals of mine.
Okay.
And then we lived together for a bit, Chris and I. Yeah, we were a lot
Is that why you were slagging Chris off earlier then?
Well, yeah, yeah. It wouldn't surprise him. It wouldn't surprise him. No, so yeah. And then I left, and then he left a few years after. He was JLL for a bit, and
Who else is out there from Acorn who you're mates with?
Was Ben Gilby there?
No, not a chance.
No way.
Kev Noon.
Yeah, Kev. I like Kev. He's a quality guy.
Yeah, very good guy. Yeah.
I actually I called him today, he inquired about something in Kingston car park.
Okay, all right.
It's weird.
It feels like it's a good starting foot.
Yeah, for
everyone we
sure,
deal
yeah.
with, they're hungry to do business.
Oh, it's full on, yeah, in a good
Whereas,
way, yeah.
Like you said, the traditional route would have been a big West End firm, and it's sort of slow, passive. You wait for things to happen.
It's all
At
built
Acorn,
great,
it
yeah.
doesn't feel like that. It's you're in control of what you do.
I think for me, I always knew that setting a business up was likely, but my worry for me would have been if I'd gone into the surveying stuff, then you end up sort of stuck in it.
Locked down.
And then it's hard to get out. And how do you set up a business when your client profile is like Aviva and stuff? And like, whereas the business I set up, these like small, medium-sized developers, or say high net worth, like wealthy locals.
Yeah.
They don't care where the opportunity comes from, whether it's me or anyone else. Like, as long as you bring them a good site, that's all they cared about. So did a bit of that, and I've always focused my attention on creating the opportunity. So I'm a believer of however people perceive the value of an agent to be. If the agent is the person who essentially creates the opportunity, then I consider them to be hugely valuable. I'm biased because I've been an agent my whole career.
Great.
So I've always focused on that. So started with the door knocking stuff and did like the letters and all of that kind of stuff. And then after about maybe 4 years of doing that, so a load of acquisition work, all off market, literally not a single set of particulars or a brochure, we were binning loads of small stuff that we were generating, but it wasn't appropriate for any of those clients. They'd got a bit bigger and they were buying different stuff. So then we were getting like shops and uppers or lettings and we're just not doing anything with it. So I thought, well, I might be able to monetize this by sort of setting up a kind of subsidiary or second business. For whatever reason, I didn't. I thought the brand at the time was like valuable, so I wanted to protect it as like it's off market thing, which is all bullshit because it doesn't exist anymore. Sorry.
That's right.
and then yeah, so then I set up city and counties with a view of if I can get that to cover the overheads of sort of everything by selling loads of little small things, then any deals I do is profit because there haven't been any costs associated with it because the other businesses done it. And then just got really into the whole like, okay, so I've got 4 agents here, so I actually need to invest in creating leads for them rather than what I was doing before, which was ad hoc. They were just sort of coming to us. Yeah. And then from there, just got really into like how we could grow that, and the development market changed as well. So doing land acquisitions was much harder. Housing associations sort of started to come out of the market, and we'd done quite a lot of that before. And so the timing worked quite well to essentially pivot into doing a high volume of small commercial deals, as well as land opportunities when they come up for sure. But like, I couldn't see how I could feasibly build a business around the land stuff. I couldn't map out to anyone here and say, I can show you a projection for the next 5 years based on the amount of land I think we're going to sell. Yeah. 1 year's good, next year's bad. Like,
are you still a deal junkie, or is it all now about growing Huzu?
The honest answer to that is, so we're just over 2 years into that now, if accounting from when we launched, nothing before that. I probably spent, I wouldn't say too much time, I spent a lot of the first, let's say 18 months on the operations of the business, almost, I don't want to say ignoring the deals, but letting the agents get on with it. But a lot of that operational stuff has kind of settled now, and we're much clearer on how to run the business. Bear in mind, when I launched, like, I'm making it up as I go. You know what I mean? So like, you know, there's so many things to do what we're doing. It's like, it's not like I can just give you this opportunity and just like, good luck. Like that's what we did at the start. And then it's like, well, how did you get on? And then you didn't even call them back. I'm like, right, we need to just work out how to do this properly. So just getting now, I think for my attention, now we're a bit more settled, now looking more into like the individual deals and stuff like that.
Because you're a hardcore experienced agent, and you've got people running for you as agents, kind of independent, but are they coming to you and saying, Tom, what this is worth, help me value this? And are you looking at that and saying, you know, are you that hands-on?
100%.
That's a cracking deal. This is what you should be doing.
100%. Yeah. And by the way, I do it the other way around. So if I get stuff, I'll pick the phone up to some of them and go, what do you reckon of this? Like, just because I think it's a healthy way for an agent to, just my opinion.
Their brain.
Yeah. And like, other people will have different views on stuff, or they'll go, oh, someone will go, that's perfect for a nursery. And I'm like, I didn't even think, you know what I mean?
That is healthy. I mean, we do that in the office. We've all got our own skill set.
brainstorm
And
so valuable.
I was going to say,
So
how did the agents find it being a self-employed model? Are they leaning on you to overcome hurdles on certain transactions?
I think they find it tough. I think there's elements of it that are great, you know, the flexibility, and, you know, don't have to be here at every certain time, but it's a lot of pressure, you know, and I think probably a bit lonely, probably. I can't say that anybody said that to me, but that's probably because that's a bold thing for any of them to say. It might feel a bit uncomfortable, but I would assume a bit
I
lonely.
agree with that. I mean,
We're on the
I
phone
quite
all day
like it.
long.
Yeah, I mean, my
Together,
office is
all
the
day
car.
long.
I mean, I can just be out
Yeah.
constantly on the phone. So I'm never lonely as such because
Yeah.
I'm always talking
Yeah.
to someone. But actually, sometimes I go days without walking into the office
Yeah,
and seeing you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
You
like the
sometimes-
good thing is every morning we all talk.
Yeah.
It's like what are the hurdles we've got to overcome today.
That's so
what
valuable.
frogs have
It's
we
so-
got
it's-
to kiss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you deal with it early,
And
or,
you're
or what's coming. How do we overcome
Yeah.
the next step?
Yeah.
and what I
and
love,
it's-
it doesn't sound like there's egos or a hierarchy there as we have in the office. It's none of that. We all just chat. Some of it's absolute shit and some of it's great, but we work it
But
out.
it's
We work out
helpful.
the
It helps
solutions.
us
Yeah.
plan
There's
the
no
day
fear.
ahead.
Oh, it's super valuable, I
Yeah.
think. And we try and I suppose create those scenarios. So I'll do my best to pull people together. So we were in town yesterday with a few of them for breakfast, and like we do these breakfasts maybe once a month. And they won't know it, but I'll be turning up with something in mind to sort of put on them a little bit. And the one that we were talking about yesterday was like them creating opportunities themselves. Now we provide them with lots of leads, but it's a very healthy thing for them to have a plan around. And I'm a big like strategy person. So for you to go, or an agent to go, do you know what? I need to get some more opportunities. I'm like, okay, cool. How? Over what period of time? Who you're going to contact? How many times you're going to contact? What are you looking for? You know, how many fees you trying to get? You know, and like let's build a plan around that, as opposed to just I just need some more fees, I need some more
Yeah.
deals. That doesn't end up anywhere.
I agree.
I think that's the difference for us. When I started the company, we were like one instruction, and
Yeah.
that was you were holding that where you're like dear
Yeah.
life. We can't lose that one instruction.
Yeah.
And as the business has grown, I mean, we do a lot of Google ad spend, but we're not out there bombarding letters
Yeah.
and things. And it sounds like your role reversal, your lead generation is key, and that's what drives the business.
Yeah.
It's just I think we're trying to do more of that
Yeah.
I love you.
to
Mark.
grow the business.
And franchise is the way forward. As you said, you can't have a premises everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like just franchise. Hairdressers, you can only cut so many heads, can't
Yeah.
you? But
Yeah.
you can employ people and they go out there and they can cut a
I
load
feel
of
like we say it every pod, but like
Yeah.
we get calls now from Birmingham, Manchester, asking us to look at their building, and they're like, "I know you're based in London, but we've seen your presence." And as long as you get yourself out there,
But especially because you guys have, and I'm sure it's broader than the niche that you have, or my perception of your niche. But I'm all about like someone should be able to answer when it's like, I'm really good at blank, or I'm the guy for blank. So for us, it's like the SME stock, so the low level commercial stock, low to mid level stock. For you guys, outsider looking in, it's like that religious stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wicked. Like there's a obvious reason as to why to phone someone, and it doesn't mean that you have to be pinned down to that thing. So we're low to mid level commercial stock. That's fine, but also can sell land. But
Yeah,
you know?
opportunity comes from it. If
Yeah.
you've got that right mentality, you've got your foundation,
Yeah.
but you'll make hay elsewhere.
Yeah.
But that's the point. I think that there's a lot of people who don't necessarily have that foundation where it's like, fill in that blank, which is I'm the guy who ... It's like, does agency like everybody else? It's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you're just in the same.
so broad that there's
Well,
no
it's
niche.
Exactly. So
But
why
there's
is anybody?
a reason why valuers come to us.
Yeah.
Because we're at the cliff face. We know
100%.
what the values are. We might not value it on a red book basis, but we'll tell you what someone will pay for it
And then
out
the
in
red
the
book
market.
value will
And then the red
do
book will
Yeah.
what
come
we
in
say.
20% below that.
Yeah.
So that's the way. But that's where our niche is.
Here's a
And
question
it's-
for you. I've got like 5 kids, yeah, and I'm always asked, who's your favourite? Yeah, you've got all these agents. Have you got favourites?
It depends what
Oh,
they're.
for that.
Cut this bit out.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Depends what day of the week is. Do you know what you have agents who are brilliant agents, and you can have like good relationships with them, but they can frustrate you because you think they can do more.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily. And then you can have people who are new into the business or new into the sector who aren't banking that much, but they're trying really hard. So then you know.
Different loyalty.
For me, it's all about like effort. Like I'm a full-on grafter, like every day, relentlessly. And if someone else is doing that, whether you like football, rugby, whatever, we will get on 100%. People who don't work hard, I really struggle. Even if we have everything else in common, I'll find it difficult to.
And as the gaffer, as the final boss, would you rather be loved or feared by those who
I
run
don't
by you?
think in 2025 fear works personally. I wouldn't. If I had fear from them, to be honest, the answer to that would be respected, as in loved, feared. But respected for sure. I'm not sure that fear would work with any of these guys, particularly on a self-employed model. They don't need to be fearful of anything.
What's a typical day in Tom's life working as you're now not a standard agent, you
Yeah.
run this business. What do you do every day?
I try to keep my Mondays and Tuesdays very, very consistent, as in the office, more or less the whole time. I wake up super early, just have for ages. So getting a bit of working very early for me is critical.
How early? Super early.
I'll work from 5 to 7 at home, but it's just always worked for me.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
middle
Must
of
be
the night.
lonely.
isn't
It
it?
must be cold in
But
the
as a
winter.
love
business
it, I love
owner, it's different.
Yeah.
But
in
it's
the winters,
and no
though,
one
when
else
it's
is awake,
dark.
is it?
well,
Yeah.
and it's that bit of work that's like it's like the boring stuff, but like I've just got a routine with
but
it.
you
and
can read and you can focus, and you can do that
100%.
before the phone blows up, and then you're screwed. Then
it just
you're
gives you
running
more
around.
flexibility over the rest of the day. When I haven't done that, and I'm like looking at my emails or like a to-do list, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is just building. And so just having that in the morning just creates so much flexibility for the rest of the day.
Does the alarm ever go off and you just fuck off? Like,
No. I've done it long enough now. I used to, for sure. But like, I'm always been a relatively early riser, so I'm lucky in that respect. But it's not for everyone. But other agents, I go to bed super early.
I was
So,
gonna say you must be in bed by like 7, 8.
well, not quite 7, 8, but like 9
It's
for
not
sure.
4, I mean, yeah.
But to get
Have you
like
got-
8 hours sleep,
Yeah.
Have you got kids?
I've got 1-year-old, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, you
How does
need-
that fit into all of sort of the
My wife
time,
takes a lot of the
really?
burden, and she baby sleeps really well.
Good.
So yeah, it's fine actually. Like, to be
There's
fair,
not
like,
been an adjustment the last. You can still sort of
Uh,
routine. You're still within that.
oh, yeah, for sure. I think like your social life changes. There's no social life now. It's like work, baby. That's about it. But that's all right. It's time of life, isn't it?
What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the graft more, or do you enjoy the money more?
That's tough.
I think I would say that we're probably not earning where we want to earn yet, and that's because we're hugely ambitious, I think. So I couldn't tell you that the money's big enough to be. So it's the graft. I love the graft. Like,
So you like it, like when you see it hit your balance. Is your dopamine level higher when you're grafting, or is your dopamine level higher when you get that money?
I would say it's all in the graft, and unfortunately these days, the deals all take so long that there doesn't often feel like there's a lot to celebrate.
Talk to
And
me
that's
about that.
that's really changed. And I was talking to one of the agents about this recently in terms of it's a shame. I can't tell you the last time I did a deal celebration. In fact, we did one in like must have been about maybe September, October, and it was like really low key. It was like a beer and some lunch, and then we all went home or whatever. And it was like, it wasn't celebrating. It was like, thank God
Like
that's over.
begrudgingly.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because that was like a really fun part of the industry, and you feel like you've all achieved stuff, and it's good, good for relationship building and all that sort of stuff. But it's just the time, like the time
It's the
invested.
market, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
People
of
are
course, yeah.
chipping and
everyone says the
dragging
same
and-
thing.
Yeah.
Everyone that's come on and said the exact
Do you
same
know what?
thing.
I
Yeah.
think we had a bit of stress last week on a deal, and actually, when the stress comes, that's when the buzz comes
But
back.
we
and
both
Yeah,
said
yeah,
we-
yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
like that's a hurdle.
Yeah, problem
We've
solving.
got-
Yeah.
and that is what we're firefighters.
Yeah, 100%.
and it's
But there was a bit of
problem-
a buzz on that one because of the time frames. It was like
Yeah.
in auction. We had to secure. It was.
yeah, it was squeaky bum time.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that is
yeah.
like, and then you do it, and it's like, okay, well, that's done.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, it
next?
was,
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
deadline day. We were both on the phone.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah, so
like,
when that's happening, it's fun, and I think sometimes that's the more enjoyable bit than
Yeah.
actually when the money
Yeah.
lands. But
or
it's
it's like you overcome that hurdle.
Yeah.
And it's like deal's gonna happen. No, there's another hurdle
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
and that's where the buzz is.
Yeah.
it's not. It's almost relief to get a deal over the line.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
and it's like
Which
ever
is
the
sad, it's
cynic to
sad.
say that.
It is so sad.
it's
right?
like-
it was sad.
but
We
that's-
worked,
that's-
we worked
yeah.
so hard to do deals, and then everyone just. But everyone is in agreement. It's just.
It's like
It's like
climbing
weight
to,
off your
to the top
shoulders.
of Mount Everest, and you get to the top, and you think, well, this is shit, and then you.
I
Just,
mean, our commercial transactions not like climbing Everest.
no, but it's like the
I mean,
journey. is
yeah,
like
no,
the
the
graft.
journey is sometimes better than the.
Like how
the-
how
the
how long do you
destination.
when you climb Everest? How long are you actually on the top for? 10 minutes.
That probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
dunno.
Yeah.
But like the actual fun part was climbing it.
You ever climb Mount Everest?
I've never done it,
Yeah.
but it's an analogy.
Another question for you. You had a baby, boy or girl?
Girl, Madeline.
Yeah. Hi. How's that changed your world and your perspective on life?
Um,
That's a cool name, Madeline Castro.
yeah.
I like that.
She. I want to. How do I answer that? God. It makes you realise It definitely makes you think about what it's all for. And let's say when you're in your mid-20s, it's like, I want to earn some money so that I can go to Ibiza and like muck around. And then it's like, okay, when you've done a bit of that and then you have a baby, it's like, all right, so this isn't just about like to have fun on the weekend. This is like school and mortgage and serious adult stuff. So she's like just a good reminder of, that pressure. And but also on the tough days, for which there are many, of course, it's like this is what it's for. Not to be cringy, that person, but
Not cringe. I agree 100%. That's what it's about. The
yeah.
shittest day is you get home and you see them there and you're like,
Yeah.
And
this is what it's about.
how easily do you switch off? Say you've had a tough day, shit's hit the fan, you walk in. Are you able instantly look at your daughter and just switch off from work, or do you struggle ever with that?
I definitely struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely don't switch off.
No.
My wife will kill me. I'll put the baby in the bath and I'm like finishing the emails or whatever.
Well, Al and I certainly.
Yeah.
These two don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
But we all get grief from the
Yeah.
Yeah.
lights. It's
Does your daughter have you've got amazing eyes, Tom.
Thank you very much.
It's
You've
a bit
got
of a love-in.
spectacular, right? Has she got your eyes?
She does
Wow.
better, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so my wife hates it because it's like, so everybody says, oh my God, her eyes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, sorry. She's good.
I'd like to swap eyes.
I'm not sure how we would do that, but
Yeah, true.
AI, maybe. The camera
Yeah,
guy might be able to
eventually.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you: Have you done any deals?
No, he's
any?
the first person I've had on. I've done a deal with Nathan, but first person I've had on the pod where we've not really done anything together or even really spoken.
No, maybe little emails
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth about bits and bobs, but I know that you know Nate well, but
Yeah.
no.
And how? Because I obviously don't fully understand, and maybe some people watching might not fully understand. How would that work? How would that crossover work? What sort of opportunity would have to come up for you to come together?
As in us two or Huzu?
Huzu and Alex Martin.
Well, that's what they were just saying. Nathan works for Tom.
Yeah.
So, and
He might
Alex.
argue he doesn't work for Tom now. He works for himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Technicality.
Yeah.
So it would be like Tom said, he started his business on an acquisition basis, as did Alex.
Yeah.
So we sort of act on behalf of clients whereby it might be buying or renting a building. Nathan could be acting on the other side for a vendor. So that's where the crossover would have been.
Yeah, if they get an instruction, and I think I've got clients for it, and vice versa. And we're joint agent. I'm joint agent with Nathan on a building in Croydon at the moment, so we are communicating a lot.
Did you know, like, would you know, is that something you'd know about, like, day to day, like instructions and stuff, or was it just when it's complete?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I knew about that one. Try and keep a pulse. I obviously don't know.
So hard at
Well,
25.
the thing is, when they create their own opportunities, I know far less about what's going on until it comes into the office. But yeah, I think on that one, Nate's like, bringing this one forward, joint with Alex Martin. I'm like, cool, like, great.
And how much are the agents generating themselves? How much is you as a company lead generation? Is it a 50-50? What would you...
No, I'd say 95% from us.
From
Yeah.
you?
Wow, that much?
Yeah.
And how are you outsourcing that elsewhere, or how do you deal with that lead generation?
It's evolved from, as I say, door knocking to like letters to Google, social media, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's always been a bit of the business that I've liked. It's always been a bit that I think I've been good at, or at least all right at. And now we're in a funny space as the business grows, where we're talking about things that we haven't talked about before. So, like cost per lead, conversion rates on leads, lead to instruction to deal, and all this sort of stuff. So, because if we're investing money to get leads into the business, we need to know if they're any good or not, and are they converting into business or not. It's no good having 100 people contact you, but you're not actually converting any of it. Yeah. And then you have to factor in like the lag time of the lead coming in to the deal actually happening, which now is horrendous.
Yeah.
It's hard to work that out, though, isn't it? I mean, we go off our gut more than anything.
Yeah.
And
We've got nothing in place. I mean, we drive leads ourselves. We get calls into the office, and it's up to us to stay on top of.
Yeah.
But there's no management.
We're trying to like home in on exactly where people are looking and putting them into the right.
But not anywhere near the extent of what you're probably doing.
With your guys, if is it like a ratchet level on fees if they bring in the instruction or you deliver them an instruction? Is there formulas in place?
Yeah, we've just introduced it, so they earn significantly more on the stuff that they bring in now.
Okay.
The point being, we as I said, we've been spending a lot of time to understand. So if we're spending money, what's our return on that money?
Yeah.
And obviously, if we're splitting the commission with the agents, then we'll get X return. But if the agents are bringing stuff to us, we haven't made the investment in the lead gen, so we can afford to pay them more. There's still costs incurred in terms of marketing and like right move accounts or whatever else. But yes, it's different. So they're now on a much
You're
better
quite
actually.
a details person, aren't you? You're all
Try to be now. I wouldn't say naturally I was, but I think in order to run the kind of business that I've got now, I've had to become it. So and I'm not a tech person, but I've had to understand how stuff works because I've delegated a load of stuff out before and not understood it. And you know, these consultants will build like tech stuff for us, but then they don't really understand what I'm talking about because they've never done agency before. So I've had to learn, and I'm not saying I know loads about it, but I've had to learn a reasonable amount around like process flows and, you know, how this platform can communicate to that platform. Otherwise what happens is we'll have a load of owners contact us, and like if that's not going to the right person at the right time in the right way, then it's a waste of money. So that, and I'll always go back to that. If I've invested in getting those leads, it's got to be managed in the right way.
And if I wanted to work for you or work with you, how do you vet that person? You know, Matt could come along. I advise you not to use him, but if Matt came along, yeah, would you just say, yeah, go on, join? Or are you, you know, you got to protect your own brand that the
Yeah.
right people are doing it and doing it the right way. How do you protect your brand?
Yeah, we did a bit of that at the start in terms of like, this seems a good guy, let's bring him on, you know.
What about like DBS checks and like background checks?
There's all, yeah, that's a given. But in terms of experience, yeah, we probably didn't do enough at the start. And we recruit much slower now than we did before. Like getting agents is not our like problem. That's not the challenge that we have. And actually, that I believe that was going to be the challenge that we had. So recruiting agents is not. It's about the leads. So it's about making sure that when someone contacts the business, that goes to the right person who's going to execute. And at the start, agent volume was an important metric for us. Yeah. So we were like, 50 agents this year, 150 next year, and it's the wrong metric to run by. You'd rather have a smaller team.
What about going the other way? Discipline. If they're agents and you're hearing they're doing naughty things or they're doing deals without declaring them to you, how do you deal with that?
Never had it.
Simple as that.
Never had it. I would say when I'm asked about that, I'd say I suspect it happens the same degree in my business as it does in any other commercial agency business. I think that we've got good guys and girls who are honest and
I think you're
There's got to
lucky
be a
with that.
level of trust there as well,
Yeah.
or it's not going to work.
Well, but maybe there is a bit of that. I wouldn't be naive enough to say that there's not, but I wouldn't say it's any more. Bear in mind that if 95% of the leads come from us, like we are on them in terms of what's happening with that. That's been on the market 3 weeks. What's the plan now?
I presume you get frustrated though from time to time if you're giving something you think is a hot lead and all of a sudden it's not going anywhere. I presume that's pissing you off at times. So
yeah. And
how common is that?
Very common.
Really?
And that was part of like operationally, that's part of the work that we've had to do to make sure that we're getting visibility so we can see what's happening. We can't see everything. I can't see if someone phones from their mobile, but we can see like email traffic or how many inquiries are coming in and are they being dealt with properly. So constantly trying to put layers in place to make sure, like not in a genuinely sort of serious way. The thing for me is as long as the client, the person who contacted us first, as long as they're getting the service that they need, then everything should be fine. So it's when that's not happening. Like, did you call the client back? No. When did you last speak to him? 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh. So,
and if that's repetitive on a self-employed model, say it just wasn't working, how do you bring that to an end on a self-employed model?
Terminate the license.
That's it. It's not working.
And have you had to do that? So that's not anyone doing anything particularly illegal or wrong, but they're just not delivering from you and you're getting bad feedback?
Yeah, we had someone quite early on who constantly was moaning about the quality of the leads. Said, why are you giving me all shit leads? I said, what makes you think that we divvy them up on that way? We don't. Like, we certainly didn't then, as in we were just allocating them randomly. So his view was that the reason that he wasn't winning business was because of the opportunities that we were giving him, and that everybody else was being successful because they were getting better opportunities. And I said, do you think there's a little part of it could be you?
Yeah.
No. So like, we're just not going to get anywhere here, you know?
Let me ask you a question, Tom. Bill Gates doesn't know when a Microsoft computer is sold. do you want to get to the level where deals are being done and you know nothing about it because you're so high up and so much is going on, or do you always want to follow what's going on and be in the know of deals that are being done?
Well, I bet Bill Gates could find it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he doesn't care for it.
Yeah.
There's so many being
I
sold.
bet he
He's
does.
past
At
that.
the end of each month, Bill Gates knows what Microsoft are
Yeah.
doing.
No, but
at
what I
the-
mean, what the analogy that I
But
mean is
on a
like when
singular basis,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
do you want to be at the level where deals are being done and you don't know about it because there's just so much happening and the money's coming in, or do you want to be involved 24/7?
No, I think, yeah, want to grow the business so that it isn't. And we're trying to get there now, actually, like the way that we communicate internally. So rather than it being like this lead is Sesame Street, and this is really important that we get this sold, the leads are coming in at a volume where it needs to be like lead 56, lead 57 sort of thing. Yeah, I mean that we're not there yet, but that's where we'd want to be for sure.
Yeah.
And you know how you said 95% of the businesses from your leads is the aim to reduce that and get the agents to bring in their own business as well, or you still start with
I mean, that's really on them. Obviously the leads for us is the value. That's what we offer,
Yeah.
as well as a load of other support. But like, we always want to maintain to be valuable to them.
Yeah.
If Apple never developed the phones beyond what they are now, like someone else might do something better, and then we'd all go and get off of Apple and buy Samsung or whatever. But they constantly invest in improving it. And that's what we're trying to do: improve lead quality, improve lead volume, improve like some of the operational stuff, so just make the agent's life as easy as possible. I've done agency, so I know what agents generally are good at and bad at, and what agents want to do and what they don't want to do. And like all of this, the tech and admin stuff, we're taking away from them and just trying to go, here is a software to use. I promise you, it's the best one because we've tested all of them. You didn't have to. We've done it. So this is really, really good. Just use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're putting them in a position where it's go and sell.
Yeah.
There's
That's
the
all
leads,
agents should want to do.
There's the buyers, go and sell it, and that's as an agent. I mean, that's what we all want to be doing.
Dream.
And it's easier said than done at times, but you're facilitating their position.
Trying to be, but market's tough. Market's super, super tough, and anyone who says anything other than that, I don't believe is lying.
And at your end of it, I mean, we're finding it tough. There's still buyers, tenants out there, and deals are still. How are you finding it in the SME sector? Is that been impacted the last 4 or 5 years with everything?
Yeah. I think there's no shortage of sellers.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a shortage of buyers. I think the biggest problem is timescales on deals. Obviously, for us, for anyone, it has an impact on cash flow. So if you forecast, we've got a pipeline of X, when's that going to convert? And if you can't like deliver that, that's a problem.
We love a pipeline. So are you looking at all your agents' pipelines? I mean, we've all got.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll say,
15
"Are we going
deals.
through
Yeah,
our
we'll have
full
a
book
look.
today?"
Yeah,
And then
it's
we're
like-
like, "Yeah."
So are you constantly looking at all your agents' pipelines?
100%
that's
every day.
That's what's coming in.
Yeah.
And what's the conversion rate on that pipeline?
As in deals that are under offer that
You've got it in
that
lawyers'
get
hands. It's
done.
going, and you've got the fee. Not to bank it, but you've got
Yeah.
the fee sitting there. Thinking,
We all
okay.
bank it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everyone's spent the money before
Yeah.
it's hefty terms are agreed.
Yeah, we're probably, I'd say somewhere between 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 deals falls away. I'd say
Yeah, I agree.
would be my
Honest.
gut feel. 50% would be
it's
too much, to be unfair,
yeah,
but
I
like I'd
agree.
say 1 in 3.
And it's annoying because you look at that pipeline and go, no, that's good, that's good,
Yeah.
that's good. But it
It's
always
like
happens.
putting an ACCA on.
Yeah.
You're like, that's coming in.
The banker always
Yeah,
holds
it's
out,
normally the
yeah.
ones that you
Early
think is
kickoff.
going to happen
Yeah.
within 24 hours.
Yeah.
What's super, and you'll be the same. What's super common for us is like, I'll get a text, such and such has fallen away. Like 10 minutes later, they'll go, but I've just agreed this, like different deal.
Yeah.
And like, so it's this constant thing of like in,
Churn.
new thing in, out.
All the other way around.
Yeah, all the other way around. But it's just it's
so the line
constant.
looks good, but what's dropping each month isn't necessarily there as well. Sometimes it can be immensely frustrating.
I saw something, I think it was a resi agent on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
it really made me laugh, and it made me think about what we do. And they were like, I've always got a pipeline of like 300 grand's worth of fees.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that means I'm really good at agency or I can never actually get any of my deals done.
Yeah. So
And it's you
It's a
you
bit
can
of both.
Probably, yeah.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
a
of
bit of
course,
both,
yeah,
of
you
course
have
it
to
is.
have it to
Because
have
everyone's got a pipeline per
Yeah.
se,
Yeah.
and it's all relative to the seat they sit.
it. Yeah.
But if you're struggling to get stuff over the line,
Yeah.
it's all well and good. That's
yeah.
our struggle.
I'm intrigued. blank it out, would you tell us what that figure was at the moment and where you want it to be, or where it was over the last 3 years?
In terms of what our pipelines,
Well, yeah, what's sitting there in that figure? 30% is going to fall away, but what's that number at the moment?
I mean, we'll always try and sit around £500,000 worth of fees.
Yeah.
But obviously that can swing any which way.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the idea is to grow that.
Yeah.
We also look at the value of the leads coming in, which we've only started doing in the last 3 or 4 months. So
How do you value that?
estimate it, but it's logical. It's not that difficult. If
Yeah.
you know, a shop and up.
Is,
Well, but a shop and up is in Birmingham.
Mm.
You know, it's going to be. Well, we have a minimum fee of £5,000, so it's
Yeah.
probably going to be a minimum fee of £5,000. No
Yeah.
problem. A letting in Rotherham is going to be a minimum fee of £2,500. So if those leads come in, so we really monitor the value of the leads that we've had this month. We then monitor the value of the instructions that we've won this month, and then we try and forecast from there.
So interesting.
Yeah,
We
it is.
really don't
on
do that,
average
yeah.
as well, for a new starter coming in a franchise model, what's the average time frame it's taking them to be profitable for the business? Because I presume that's something you're taking into account.
Yeah, for sure.
On an average, it might take them 6 months to actually start earning money for you. How often is that the case, and how much are you on top of that?
Yeah, very, very much on top of it. And 6 months was the forecast we had when we launched.
Yeah.
It's more like 12.
Really?
Doesn't mean that they won't do anything,
No.
but new people who join, we basically say, do you have a runway of a year, right?
Mhm.
You're setting up a business, and this is the most important thing that we try and drill into people, and not all of them get it. Like the amount of them who still go, yeah, got it, boss. I'm like, no, I'm not your boss. You are your boss. You have a small commercial agency business, and I am a service provider to you. Okay, you're using my brand, but the point is, you have to understand it's your business. It's not mine.
Mhm.
I'm just here to help.
That's probably quite a tough pill to swallow for some of them when they realise they've got that responsibility.
Well,
But
I mean,
anyone going in any seat, they're not doing deals day one that are completing day one.
Yeah, but
There's always a
is that
lag
12
there.
months people with experience?
mixed bag.
Mixed bag.
What I would say is experience doesn't count for anywhere near as much as you would think it would,
Mm.
for sure. And I could give you loads of examples of that.
Go
Like, I'm not going to name names, but there's like people with like the CVs we were looking for. You know, the CVs that I didn't think we would get until we were in year 4 or 5, and then it's like, but why are you not banking loads? And it's like, oh, because actually your CV is one thing. You might have worked at X, Y, and Z business, but like you don't have the graft, or you're not aligned with us.
Yeah.
So, but we've got some guys who join us as essentially resi agents. Brilliant. Like they just
I
get
totally
it.
agree. I always say
Different
if
sort of
I'm
feeling, yeah.
going to employ someone, I want them to have a little bit of resi experience.
Yeah.
It's a different world altogether.
That's where I started.
yeah.
It's
It's
constant.
just the art of the deal, as Donald
Yeah,
Trump
they
says.
just learn to hustle, and you can get a good degree at Reading and be great at writing a marketing report and processing an instruction, but actually making money, just given a phone and a computer and go out there and do it.
Oh, I hope you know I've never worked for a red
Yeah, I
agent.
know, but you've proved yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a wanker.
Yeah.
Though. And how many of the guys you're signing up, sort of 12 months later, are still in that position? I know it's new and you've not been trading that long, but how many 12 months later are sort of making a profit for you and are still sat in that position and doing it? Is it quite a big churn, or?
I would say that there is a reasonable amount of churn.
Yeah.
Some of that's driven by us though, where it's just we've established that actually culturally it's not, and I'm better at that than I was at the start. I think we would constantly give people the benefit of the doubt or give way too long. And I think it's all right to say, do you know what? Like, I had to think about it. Probably not going to work out. Like, no hard feelings, but like, let's say that there's two sides to this industry, right? There's like the surveying side of it, and then there's what we all do, right? It's not a part of the sector that's ever talked about. Like if you pick the Estates Gazette up or Property Week or whatever, there's nothing about what any of us do. And I'm not saying it should go like shop let on Old Kent Road for 15 grand a year.
It's 500,000
Newsflash.
square feet being built in the West End somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, okay,
Yeah.
I get that. But I got quite into this because at the start of it, we were trying to establish how big the market is. And there's, first of all, there's no data point for that.
Yeah.
So I'm asking data companies, we were happy to spend money, and they were like, yeah, we don't really know. So you name it, any of the platforms that are out there, honestly, we spoke to all of them and nobody could tell us. So then we started to look at, basically started to build our own data set. Okay, logically speaking, so they know how many 1,000 square feet are let in the city, right? you know, there's like they do like the EG awards and all that sort of stuff.
Radius and all that. Yeah.
So there's none of that for our end of the market. So it's like, okay, so but I'm trying to get a gauge on how big this is and like how many agents are there and how does this all work. So then we took the approach of looking at listing value. So I can't look at deal value because if you go to CoStar or any of these companies, when you get down to our end of the market, their data just starts to get like quite, they don't have a lot of it, basically. Flaky. Yeah. And so we were looking at listing data and it's like, so there's, so we just done a scrape on it recently. So there was, I think it was £15 billion worth of listings on Rightmove alone, commercial, under 5 million. So we self-defined, just made it up, that the SME market, let's call it under 5 million, because most of the value in terms of transactions in the commercial sector is above that, right? That's all the firms in the West End and the city doing all that sort of stuff. But it was like 25,000 listings, £15 billion. So I'm like, okay, so that's just Rightmove. So then there's the other portals. Then there's all the listings that just sit on agents' websites that aren't listed on any of the portals. Then there's all the off-market deals. And then there's all the deals that, or then there's all the sellers who haven't decided to sell yet. So I'm like, £15 billion worth of listings just on Rightmove today. Okay, cool. That's big enough to be interested about. What does that make the market worth? 100 billion? I don't like it's not made up numbers. No. Pulling it off a Rightmove, like, and I know that, like, you could argue is Rightmove the right place, but there's a load of listings on there. It's just you know, and so it's, yeah, I can't remember how I got into that now, but yeah, it was just for us. It was just trying to work out how big is that market? Where can we fit into that in some capacity? Just trying to understand it better and help with some decision making by understanding what's going on. But the point is, like, culturally, there's nobody talks about this end of the market. No one cares, but it's a massive market.
We care.
Yeah, but that's it.
It must be quite similar to where you started with the church industry. It's that similar sort of thing.
It's even lower down in the market. The church industry.
I mean, everyone comes on. Well, they don't say it live on the podcast, but agents just the weird church guys who just always deal with religious groups and their waste of times and stuff. And
but you've formed a profitable business.
I mean, but that's what I mean about the niche.
People turn their nose up.
Yeah, there's less money around, and I get it that they're all messers, but they're not. But, you know, I put something out in South London that I will get 100 inquiries on that. But out of that 100 inquiries, probably 10 are capable. Right now, I put that 100 out, it's probably only 2 or 3, but you still only need 2 or 3, and you've got to know who they are. And I've learned how to distinguish who the real ones are and not. And yeah, there's a load of junk, but great. Acorn don't want to put it out, or someone else put it. They can't see it. They're just like, don't want to deal with them, which gives me the power.
I love it. As in but that's the point. Is you know stuff that other people don't know.
Yeah,
and you've got the patience.
That's where we bring value.
100%. That's my point.
Someone might put a building on the market. They've missed a trick. They've undervalued it by £500,000, and that's another side of the business. We work with a lot of investors who lean on us on values. I can buy this. Do you think there's value there? Can you find a tenant and sort of package a deal up? So we're an agency is the bread and butter. Yeah. But there's also that where because of our niche, we can see the value where others can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you take that building, and if it's on the Old Kent Road, or if it's in Canning Town, or if it's Ruislip or wherever, the values can almost be 100% different. Building, but where it is, and is it multicultural, but you know, and so you got all three face bidding over it, and it's that is real market knowledge.
Yeah. Which is very but it's very hard to replicate. If I went, do you know what, I like what they're doing, I'm going to start like getting into the religious stuff, like, I wouldn't even know how to start that.
But even like, it's funny you say that, because even like us, I'm sure you say the same, people sometimes call our office and they talk to us and they think we're Alex, and if we're not, they're like, oh, I only want to speak to Alex because that he has built that relationship. He's the church religious guy.
We probably don't have the patience he does as well. That's the reality. Like, Alex will still do a 20 grand a year rental to a church, and it's like put every ounce of his life into it.
Yeah, I mean, we just said something else.
I just always believe in the karma. You'll grow that party. It's educate, and you'll grow that party. One day, 5 years from now, I'm going to sell them a building.
So I'm all about that. As in, that is one of our biggest sort of stipulations when we do recruit now. Is we've had people in the past like, I'm going to bring this person in, got loads of land experience, so you focus on land. It's like, no. We give you leads, and it's like a shop to rent. You rent it and you do it passionately. If you don't want to do it, go and do something else. Not a problem. But like exactly what you're saying, that you do a good job for that person, and then they go, oh, here's my cousin, and then they've got 5 buildings to sell, and it's like a 40 grand fee. It's like,
It's
you
a
know,
slow
especially
burn,
in
you
the
have
past.
to, you have
but it
to,
generates,
you have
doesn't
to,
it? Yeah.
you have
They're all
to.
well ingrained within the same communities.
Yeah.
So you deliver for one, you get recommended
Yeah.
for the next, and that's how I think the business has grown over the last 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8
and obviously
years.
you peeling off into different sectors.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
amazing.
You do like the nursery sort of stuff,
nurseries,
but that's
trying to
another
do more in the schools.
niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've tried, you know, listings come on. It's like, this is obvious nursery. If you don't have the relationships, you call them up and they just pie you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with the religious stuff. Like, you know, we would be way better to call you
Yeah.
guys because you'll actually be able to open the door. It's a
And
relationship
I
thing,
think
isn't
it
it?
takes time. I mean, the nurseries, I've now got a direct line into
Yeah.
the top 10 in London
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of I've bombarded them enough
Yeah.
that they now take me a bit more
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, they
And
trust you.
and
Yeah.
they know that we're going to deliver opportunities
Yeah.
for them, and that's how you build the sector.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done all right, but it's where's the next sector?
Yeah,
That's we see all these care homes hit our dead. Well, what do we do with them?
yeah.
That's there's always something else,
Do you
and
think?
it's finding that.
Do you think that Alex Martin commercial could ever go down and follow the Huzu model?
I don't think I need to, though, as we're going more and more national, rather than if we've got to service stuff in the north of England or Scotland, then
Be
who
nice to
knows,
have a
it might
little,
work.
I think
little
it's
office in.
probably quite similar to what Tom said. He's
Yeah.
got staff who aren't full time.
Yeah.
That might be the model we say. So if we're taking stuff on in Manchester or Sunderland, we might not need someone full time, but it's having the availability
Little-
part time.
Yeah, little fireworks were going off in my head about that because we are, genuinely picking up instructions everywhere. And the thing is, is it financially viable to service a little £300 sale in Sheffield, for argument's sake? But because I was client side, I kind of see opportunity. So knowledge is power, as you know, and you can be out there servicing and only earning a £3,000 or a £6,000 fee, but I might see an opportunity up there which might make me 50, 60 grand just by having the presence out there, not through the traditional routes of agency, but there's another side to the business. Do you do other stuff?
In what respect?
So, actually buy, trade?
Nah.
You don't. You're pure agent.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say that, as in everything is in the business. So it's not so much even about agency anymore. It's like I wouldn't have any time or energy or interest. We've done deals before where we're on like profit kickers with clients and stuff. Some have worked really well and some haven't. And like, not fussed about it, particularly in this market. I don't even know if the opportunities are there, but just don't have the like every bit of my energy is in like scale operations. Like I just wouldn't have the.
Do you have any other
capacity.
passion for making money? Crypto, stocks?
No,
You're all in on
Wouldn't
this.
oh, for sure,
literally,
yeah. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't even. I've friends do bits and bobs like that. And they're in the markets and stuff. It's just not. I'm like every
Property?
single day. Not really. Like every single day and every penny. Honestly, if there's money to invest in that, it'll go straight into business. And I would
That's
believe.
your longer term.
Yeah.
Well, I
you're
believe
all
I'll
in.
get more of a return
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
for sure.
Do-
Yeah, and I understand it better.
Are you the pioneer of this model in this country?
The only self-employed commercial agent, yes.
Yeah.
The only national agent at the lowest end of the market, yes, we believe.
Is Huzu national? International, sorry.
Not international, no.
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 Do you want to be international?
Don't see any reason why not. I don't know. Let's get
What sort of
national right
countries
first.
would you go to first?
Probably start somewhere that I wanted to actually spend some time.
Yeah.
I don't
Just an
know.
excuse.
Yeah.
Fly to Spain or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Somewhere sunny.
Yeah.
Not England.
Yeah. No.
And there's a lot of other, not a lot, but there are some other. Gunner Cook does the same model. Do you see?
They're
solicitors,
solicitors.
Yeah, but they've got the same model.
Yeah.
Now have, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
do you
so-
see that? Do you think this is a new agency model that's going to start up and coming?
I believe so. I mean, look, it happens in resi. Loads of resi businesses that do it now. And actually, some of the law firms, once I'd learnt that, I really paid attention to that. I can't remember the name of one of them.
Anytime Fitness are doing it now.
How?
They're a franchise model, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a gym.
Yes, but it's the same model.
No, it's just a franchise. That's historically that's been around.
How would you
for-
feel if another commercial agent started to brand up?
I'm
and do
sure
the
they will.
same?
I'm sure they will. Yeah, no problem.
Are you like, all right, does that like bring it on? Let's see if you can compete.
Probably
with me. Are
quite
you that
flattering.
competitive?
If someone else started a self-employed commercial business, I'd probably laugh because I wonder if they know how hard it's
Yeah.
going to be.
Can I just say, just cutting in there, I agree because I do the religious sector, and I'm telling you, over the last 15 years, I've watched so many agents come in. I do it. I've got all these clients.
Yeah.
They all disappear after
Yeah.
6, 12 months.
Yeah.
That must be like, I'm the man.
No, because you don't want to shit on people.
No.
Like,
but-
people are doing it because they see value in what we're doing. So it's a respect thing. at
Yeah,
the
but
same
it
time.
is so hard. They think there's easy money there. It's so hard. You might pull off 1 or 2 fees, but you've got to kiss so many frogs and grow that.
Have they got an
network. So-
arrogance about them?
No, they're just usually of African nature from a church and thinking I'm an agent, I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing, and start showing off, and it just doesn't go anywhere.
You got any beef with anyone in the industry?
What, you trying to put fights out
No,
there
so
now?
I went at solicitors early doors,
Right.
and it was like we got some heat for it.
Who
Yeah.
did,
But I think
Chris
every
Henshaw?
agent that's been
Henshaw-
on
Yeah.
has issues with solicitors. at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, for
The same
sure.
way they have issues with agents. We're not painting every solicitor as
Yeah.
being completely useless.
Yeah.
But there are agents who are pretty useless. There are solicitors that
Are,
are. as
are
well.
there agents out there who don't give your agency the respect it deserves?
Probably, to be honest, right? Since I don't. I mean, what respect does it deserve? I don't think I care particularly. I just know what we're doing.
Mm.
But when I was doing agency, I would be out a lot, as in like events and all this sort of stuff. I don't really do it now. The agents do, so they probably see or hear it more than I would, and maybe they wouldn't tell me. I don't know. Like I don't.
I have it, honestly do, because obviously I was very much an acquisition agent
Mm.
to start with, and I threw a lot of mud, and particularly the bigger brand, old school surveying firms were like, oh, he's just throwing mud,
Yeah.
he's blasting,
Yeah.
he's not doing the job properly. And obviously the business has evolved, but
Yeah.
some of the older school guys they've still got that arrogance, don't want to deal with him, which
It's not even always.
frustrates
It's not
me.
even always.
No, but no, yeah, it's easy saying that.
Yeah.
But
It's
in
not even always
reality,
the
when
bigger
you're trying
brands.
to buy a site for a client and someone's doesn't want to deal with you because they've got a preconceived idea,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
acting
now that
on
I think
behalf of a client to deliver a site for them.
Mm.
Is
Shouldn't
that
matter.
on
It
us
shouldn't
that we
matter,
can't
no.
deliver it? I mean,
and I think there's a little bit of jealousy and a threat now.
Prejudice?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
Well, yeah.
I don't-
I'm not
I
sure that's the
don't
right
think it's
word.
prejudice.
So-
I think
I think what I'd say is a shame about our side. It might just be us. I don't think it is. I've got friends who work in like an investment agency, like proper investment
Like
agency,
yeah.
you know, and it's like, right, so so my client is Aviva and your client is whoever, Blackstone, whatever, right? And it's like, well, I'm retained by them, you're retained by them. I'm going to introduce you the opportunity. You get fee, I get fee. Everybody wins. Everyone's happy. It doesn't seem to do. It's quite rare. As in, I think I don't know in what we do. Like people are really, really protective over their opportunities. Maybe because there's a lot of similar clients. I don't know, and maybe like if John is retained by Aviva, maybe that retention is far more solid. It's like a contractual retention. Like you have to use him. So they're really comfortable about their positions. But I think it's a shame because I think we would all do more business. Like in a way, like if I phoned you guys up and went, here's the last 50 things that came into the business.
Who have you got
Any
for it?
ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We've
why
got-
don't we do that? And from my perspective, it's not like fear of people nicking opportunities. It's like I don't know.
it's an opportunity for both, though, isn't it?
100%. I mean,
Everyone
it's-
wins.
It is trust, isn't it? Like you
Yeah.
do have to trust. But
Every-
We've got
everything
a
you've-
couple of
yeah.
agents that we work quite closely with.
Yeah.
who, listen, it's not you scrap, but if they can earn a fee out of an instruction,
Yeah, it makes
we've
no
got,
difference to
Yeah.
us.
Great. I mean,
Everything you've described there is kind of with a couple of agents. There's a few propcos, and we get pretty much transparency in what
Yeah,
they're looking at,
yeah.
and we add value. It's taken a lot, particularly the propcos, to trust to do that because they think, well, if I show you, you might run off and
Yeah.
do it to someone else and nick the opportunity.
Yeah.
But the wealth that's been generated from having that trust is great. But to unlock that with you people is so difficult.
Yeah.
it is.
you feel like you're getting somewhere, and then you get kicked in the nuts, and
Yeah.
it's like, well,
But
why,
I think
did
it's-
I put my trust in?
Yeah.
But I
that's
think
the-
it's a hunger thing. So I'm fortunate enough now to be in a position where it's all about the relationships and not about having to earn the money.
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
go and burn me, well, you burnt me. I'm never going to do anything with you again. But there are other people out that one deal is going to make them financially secure, or they think it is. So they will gamble and they will snake you, for want of a better word.
Speaking of burnt, do you ever get burnt on fees?
We've had it a couple of times recently, actually. I think because we're just doing a higher volume. Yeah, we have had it a couple of times.
How does that make you feel?
I don't like it.
Mm.
Yeah, one of them we started the legal stuff and then we got paid, and then the other one we are in the middle of stuff. Not vast sums, but it's more principle out of anything else. But yeah,
100%.
I don't know if this is a really personal question, but let's say you don't lift a finger, right, and a deal gets done. How much are you earning from that?
me or an agent?
You,
Sorry.
Tom Castro.
Well, I don't earn anything from any of the deals. The business, like, do you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
take.
but you must pay yourself a wage, huh?
I take money when I can or when I need to. It's like I'm in, as in, it's every penny sits in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I personally earned way more before when I was acting like an agent, but I've got overheads and I want to, you know, the business needs to grow from sort of self-funding essentially. So when there's money, yeah, I'll take what I need.
Was
but
that a stupid question?
not a
Sorry.
stupid
Was that-
question.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't pay myself a big wage at all. It's
we-
all tax, it's tax reasons.
Yeah.
But then you take a dividend when you need the money.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think for us as well, it's like very much embracing the like being nimble at the moment, like as and when and if there is pots that we have, I have to protect that and make sure that that's being spent in the right place. If I take it and go away, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's it's there to do, but like it's all about like more leads, more agents, like investing in just trying to get the whole thing moving quicker. And that's the commitment that I made when I started doing it. Like,
Have you had people say, "Can I invest in the company?" Or are you like, "Don't need you. I know what I'm doing." You sound like you're in control.
Your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took some friends and family money at the start. We needed some runway in order to get the whole thing set up. But yeah, I mean, we've been approached beyond that, but not really on the agenda at the moment.
Would
And
you sell?
I get asked that all the time. Like we're 2 years into like something longer term as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
they
I
base
get
it off
asked.
potential, don't they?
Sorry, no, I get asked it. I don't think I'd ever sell
Yeah.
because the information you learn and the opportunity that spins off the back of being in the market sector that I
Yeah.
am in a position,
Yeah.
it wouldn't, the dividend or return I get from selling wouldn't pay dividend. Yeah. So I wouldn't sell it. I just wouldn't. But with you, it's a very, very different model. And I'm not saying now in 10 years' time, but you're creating a machine there and you're not looking at opportunities outside. You're all focused on that machine
100%.
working and generating. So that is something, once it's fully maximized, is going to have real value.
That's the idea. Now, so is it about selling or is it about creating value? It's
Yeah.
definitely about creating value,
Yeah.
tangible value.
Mm.
And that started 2 years ago, as in that's not like, oh, and maybe hopefully it might be worth some money at some point. It's like, no, like let's set a plan around this and what we're trying to achieve and how might we get there. And obviously it's like, when you write it out, it's like that, but then it's all the shit along the way.
Reality
Of
isn't
course.
that.
Yeah. So, but it's about creating something valuable, and that works. And again, not being cringy, but that's adding value to the market. Then that's where that's where I'll get my value. If it's like a kind of fly-by-night lifestyle agency business, you can make some good money doing that for sure. But I don't know. And it's horses for courses. That's just not what I'm doing.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
Don't have much at the moment, to be honest, because of like business and the baby. But I follow boxing, like boxing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's the best boxer in the world?
Usyk for sure,
You reckon?
100%.
Do you box yourself or?
A little bit. I wouldn't ever,
No.
like
But
done
is
some
that
like
how you
charity
get in the
things.
gym? Is
Yeah.
that how you switch off?
Yeah,
Like an
yeah.
hour or two.
Yeah.
Here and there?
Matt wants to organise a property boxing night.
Me, you arm wrestle right now.
Mate, you get broken
No, I
up
wouldn't.
quickly.
No, I wouldn't. I'd back myself.
Do you?
Really?
But you're like young and stuff. I'm old.
Matt, put your arm down.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, please.
Is that how, like,
Okay, can I ask, sorry, Eubank or Ben, who did you want to win?
I wanted Ben to win.
You did,
And
yeah.
I
I
thought-
think we all wanted Ben
I
to win.
thought
I was
it was
standing
very
up. I was
close.
standing up
Oh.
off the sofa at the end of that. It was a
Oh,
great
yeah.
I wanted
fight.
Eubank to win.
Yeah,
did
Eubank
you?
all day
Why?
long.
Yeah.
for what reason though?
I don't know. I just think Conor Ben was so cocky in the build
But
up.
for me, it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
And I like, but the
And I
tenacity.
like Senior. I
The
like
underdog.
Eubank Senior.
Yeah, I mean, that was wild.
character.
Really.
Who's the best boxer of all time?
Oh God, I don't know. It depends what you like, doesn't
Gotta
it?
be Mike
Really?
Tyson, yeah.
Yeah, but he lost the heap, So it's
Mayweather?
Yeah, but he's quite boring. So it depends it really depends what you like, doesn't it? And I don't know.
Answer the question.
Mayweather's
Who's the
like
best
watching Arsenal,
boxer?
just counter attack, a long ball. into the
Yeah, but he's never
box.
lost and never will.
Yeah,
No.
but it wasn't
does
the
that mean
most
he's the best?
exciting-
I think it sort of does mean he's the best. He literally could never be beaten. No one beat him. 52.
But then if-
Just
but then
sat
he-
in the pocket the whole, it's boring.
And then if he
to watch.
picks
matter.
people, select like who he fights and when, I get that's part of it. Do you know what I
but
liked?
that's genius.
I loved Joe Calzaghe because he fought good people at like a good time,
Mayweather
and he
fought
was
some good people as
yeah,
well. Let's not
but
tarnish his
yeah, just
reputation
as I
there.
say, so, well, who do you think the best boxer of all time?
Mayweather's
I
watching
think,
this pod.
I think Mayweather's the best of all time.
Do you?
Because he couldn't be beaten.
But
If
also,
you
it's
can't be beaten. How can you not be the best?
But also, it's the extent to which you go back. So I started following it. I don't know, 2000 and whatever. So I haven't gone
Way
back
back.
through the history books and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Matt, can I ask you a question? Can you name 3 people Mayweather has ever fought?
Yeah, I can.
Go
Go
on.
on.
Manny Pacquiao.
That was like an
Yeah.
exhibition fight.
No, it wasn't. That was a
What are
real
you
fight.
talking about? That was the
No, the recent
okay,
one.
Ben. You
No,
might
that
need
was
to
a
turn your
real
mic
fight,
off,
Ben.
mate. Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
And I'll throw one in there. Conor McGregor.
That's an exhibition.
No, it wasn't. That was a record fight.
So are you saying because he's never lost? Are you saying Arsenal are the best football team ever from
Change subject,
2002?
next.
They didn't lose a game. They
That
the
was
best football-
2003, mate.
2003, mate.
Best football team ever.
No, but it's different sport. That's an individual sport.
Shoes in your
That's an
argument.
individual sport. Boxing's an individual. It's all on him.
We
whether
were the
he
best
wins or
team
lose.
ever that year. We didn't lose a game.
Into
year.
MMA at all? People that love boxing don't really like MMA.
I'll be like like when there's a big fight, I'll
Yeah.
probably watch it, but
You,
certainly
you
wouldn't.
must wake up when it starts.
I don't- yeah. Not on the weekend, not on a Sunday morning. No.
Good from you, Ben. Very
It
good.
really is.
Yeah, not so much really. Yeah, not for any reason, just as the time, and I don't even know where do you even watch it in the UK? Is it,
Yeah.
is it DAZN or?
Yeah, TNT.
TNT or TNT.
And
Right,
like you mentioned earlier in your youth days, you like to sort of go to Ibiza and stuff. Was that your cup of tea? Did you like sort of clubbing and partying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we still go now. As in, I've been probably every year for the last 15 years.
Ibiza?
Yeah. You got married
Ooh.
there. Like, love it.
Everyone loves Ibiza.
Yeah.
Have you been?
I've been years ago.
Yeah.
I'm
Is it
going
good?
for my first time in July.
Are you?
Never
It's
been.
not your shtick though. Mate.
I'm
It
not-
depends what you know.
He's
So
like
I didn't.
Marbella
You-
Ocean.
Yeah, I
Well,
like
I'll
that.
probably-
Nice.
I'll probably be more like
Yeah,
that
well,
sort of stuff. I didn't do like I was never really like the heavy club stuff. We probably went to like it'd be like David Guetta's playing, and so it's probably like the crap
Yeah.
pop
I said,
stuff.
I said to
David
Joe, I
Guetta's
was doing that.
unbelievable.
No. But if
No,
you
but
go
it's
out there,
not
that'll be
like
like some like heavy
proper-
house.
I said to
Yeah.
Joe, I want to go to David Guetta and he took the piss out of me.
See,
Exactly.
that's more
Why?
my scene.
Yeah,
that sort of-
yeah.
I
yeah.
love
No,
David
it's not
Guetta.
No,
anymore.
but when
Exactly, 'cause
when
you
I
know
was
all the
when I
words.
was younger,
Yeah.
I would. That
Not
was
that
more,
young. Well, not when you were my age.
Mate.
You do all that.
How
Mate,
old are
you're
you?
31.
25.
I'm 32. That
Oh,
was
okay.
7 years ago. Before I even worked with Al. It's
You weren't.
What
doing
you
it.
25? Did you say?
Yeah.
Oh,
How
you'll love
old are
it.
you? You look quite young.
That is the first time anybody's
Matt,
ever
guess,
said
guess.
I'm going to guess 32.
that. It's very kind of you, and that's on camera now as well, which I'll
Wait,
show my
lift
wife.
up the hat and I'll go 36.
35.
35.
Yeah.
Okay. How old do you think I am?
I mean, you could be anything from like 18 to 40 something.
It's accurate. It's right.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to say you're on a younger side. So I'm going to say 24.
22.
Oh, yeah, I thought yeah.
He acts his age. Actually, he acts.
he
A
acts
lot
far
younger,
lower
yeah.
than his age. let's
Some
be
grey
honest.
hairs for a 22.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. Isn't it? Can you see
That was the
him?
9 months at Alex Martin, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, that was
It's
the
actually-
easiest 9 months of his
It's,
life.
it's these lot. That's
Oh, is
That's it
it?
for me.
Yeah.
and Al. Can we get an age guess on Al?
Be honest.
70.
49.
Not far off.
Yeah, not
3
far.
years old.
Yeah,
4 years old?
53.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to the den?
Yeah, I used to have tickets down there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been for a couple of years. Friends of mine still. We had a box. We shared it, and I just haven't been for ages now.
Is that work and baby? Yeah, just
Are they still
your
championship?
priorities change, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And
Nearly got the place.
do you know what it was as well? This it must have been a COVID thing when there were way more midweek games. I don't know if it's still the same now, but there was seasons when it was a couple of seasons it was like 5 or 6 home midweek games, which I was never going to go to. So I was like spending the money,
Mm.
and let's say that there's 20 games a season that you can go to at home, but normally there's 1 or 2 midweek games. Now there's 5 or 6 that I'm definitely not going to go to.
Mm.
So at least 15, 14 games. I'm probably not going to go to half of them.
And
Yeah.
also,
And then I'm-
Millwall is not a very appealing place to go to.
It's terrible to
Is that
watch.
all just like what everyone says? Is that
It's fun,
sheep?
though,
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun on a weekend.
And
Yeah.
it's racist.
I mean, I've not
That's a
seen
bit,
much
a
of
bit
that.
of a
to be honest.
generalisation.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah.
I mean, come on, Millwall.
Nah, it's not, I mean,
no, that's a
maybe
a
historically,
stereotype.
maybe,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I've seen a lot of that.
Matt,
down
name a player to play for Millwall.
Sean
Steve
Dyche.
Morrison.
Danny Shittu.
Danny
there.
Shittu.
All
Yeah.
good shouts.
Yeah, yeah.
Did Sean Dyche play for Millwall?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Al?
Nah,
That's your rivals.
don't
Go-
care.
Okay, interesting. They won Family Club of the Year somehow. I think that was
Is that
rigged.
true?
Yeah.
How'd you
Not
know that?
this
What,
year?
this year?
Nah, let me look up
Last
the
year,
year.
I think they genuinely did as well.
Last year?
And
What does
you're
that mean?
saying you get a lot of racist people there. How
Yeah, no, that's
come
what I
out
mean.
with
It was
that?
unbelievable.
Racist families, mate.
2017, they won Family
You're saying
Club
it
of the Year.
based on one video
Yeah.
that you've seen on Twitter.
What, the
Millwall-
5-year-old kid
Yeah.
singing the song? Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's terrible. You should play that.
No, no,
Do not play that.
not in this company.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Tom?
Doing the same stuff. Hopefully, scale growth. Same business. Yeah, home wise, we like where we are. So, yeah, around that sort of way, and just keep grafting. And I wouldn't see much changing. Probably have more kids.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
I'm stressed, but yeah,
You got a good hairline for someone that's stressed.
yeah.
Look
I've
at
got
Joe.
good, there's a lot to be happy about if you've got
I'm
a good
not running
hairline.
the business either. So, yeah.
Why'd you
Yeah.
pick on Joe, not Al?
How's my boss?
So
Who
I-
gives you more stress, the baby or the wife or the business?
Oh, the business for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. No, it's not comparable.
Yeah.
The baby stress is like here and now.
Yeah.
Give her some food, go down. The wife stress, not that much at all, to be fair. The work stress is like it's relentless.
This might sound like a stupid question. Don't laugh. When you found out you were having a daughter, obviously you love your daughter. Were you gutted that it wasn't a son?
I wasn't gutted, but I definitely, do you know what? I genuinely assumed I would have a boy because I don't know. I just thought I'm a guy, so I'll have a boy. And I'd say for the first 5 minutes after, I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't pictured that. And then like honestly obviously wouldn't change it now. And like you look at, I've got other friends who've got boys. It's like it's chaos. I mean,
Yeah.
it's chaos with girls, but like it's chaos. Like
I
it's
honestly
different.
think my 5-year-old hates me.
So,
So
does.
I've
Is it a boy
got
or a girl?
Boy. I've got 2 boys.
Yeah.
My 9-month-old baby is like the best baby
Yeah.
ever. Love. Like,
You think
so-
Jensen actually hates you?
Not
He doesn't.
not
Johnny.
hates, but dislikes me from time to time.
Yeah.
And the feeling's mutual. I mean, you have good and bad days with kids sometimes, and sometimes I just want to wring his neck, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't change it for the world, obviously. But
They're so different, honestly. I had 3 girls, and then when I had the boy, it was like I know what I'm doing. I'm a
Yeah.
experienced parent, and it's totally different.
yeah, so
They
everyone
come
says.
to you, you think they're going to want to hug. They don't. They just go climbing on top of you to get something above your head,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
put it on the floor,
Yeah.
and just destruct everything. But
Yeah.
it's
I've got mates
entertaining.
with girls, and it's like an unconditional love with
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
With boys, it's like
You wanted a daughter really badly.
my second one, but I wouldn't change it.
No,
obviously.
no.
But it's I mean, the family dynamic's never easy, but
You're 32 with 2 kids.
2 kids.
Oh, good for you.
and
But it's
you're-
like I couldn't look at my wife for a week when she, and Al would tell you.
Yeah, he
she
went.
told
In,
me
you
she
went in
was
full
pregnant.
depression for about a
I
week.
was a
Oh,
kid.
no,
you know, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
25, 26,
God,
and that
yeah.
was not.
Yeah, it wasn't,
on the
It
cards.
wasn't on the agenda.
I want
yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
I think I'm
You
ready.
got a missus?
Yeah, not wife, but I think I might. I honestly think I'm ready.
Matt, someone who's known you a few years, you are not ready.
No, but I feel like it will make me ready.
Do you know the scariest thing? He genuinely believes what he's saying.
I know.
No, I think I'm ready. Financially, maybe not, but morally,
Listen,
yeah.
you're never ready. Like find out. There's never the perfect time.
Apparently, each kid cost $1 million until they're 18.
That's why I'm working so hard.
Yeah.
That's what they
I'll
say.
actually do a
You
little
do have
plug.
5 kids.
Yeah,
though.
When I had my first one, and she's 28, I remember I was working for Houston Lawrence in Battersea, and Andrew Caldry was my boss. I always remember this. He goes to you, how hard do you think it's going to be? I went, oh, no, hard. He goes, no, how hard? This high? This hard? This hard? I went, I know this hard. And he went, mate, that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not know what's coming.
Really?
And he was so true. It is so hard.
I don't want my baby to be fucked up though.
This is what we had to deal with. Yeah.
Your face.
Why would your baby be fucked?
No, I
up?
don't know. I just feel like it
Like
would.
you did, they're your child. You love them unconditionally.
Yeah,
and
but
you
obviously
work
this
hard.
is going to get cut out. But Sasha's families, they've all got disabilities.
Sasha's sisters.
Massively autistic. The mum's autistic. her first cousin's autistic.
Yeah, but you're not going to know. That's the
Her
thing.
future husband's autistic.
her other cousin's got Tourette's. It's like everywhere.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, so
No, some of this has got to
Don't
go.
cut it out.
No,
Yeah, send it to
no,
me.
that's okay.
That is
Mate, you've been
class.
very well behaved today until that moment.
Well, we're a couple of lads fucking
Spitballing.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
I think we need to line up, mate. We've been peppering you for questions. It's been so business orientated.
yeah, I started raising my hand.
Yeah,
at one
yeah,
point.
I know.
Maybe I'm
We
a
had to-
bad,
we had
maybe
to
I'm a
chill out a
bad
little
guest.
but
so-
that
it's been
flowed,
interesting. Yeah.
naturally. I
Yeah.
think. It was
It's
really
actually
good.
because we don't know that much about the actual
Yeah.
business. It's
Yeah.
actually interesting to learn about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really interesting. All right, well, yeah, I want more banter now. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
about Chris Henshaw. Yeah, give us some stories.
I mean, I could give you so many stories about Chris. Yeah. No, Chris is good. Chris is very, very good at what he does. He's
Yeah.
super. I mean, have you worked? Have you? Worked
Yeah,
with
we've done a couple of deals.
him? Yeah. He's good, Chris. So we played in the same football team for a bit, and Chris was the guy every other team fucking hated. He's good. He's a good player.
called
as well.
himself
Is
the
he
rat.
as good as he
Yeah,
makes
the
out?
rat.
'Cause
Yeah.
He called
Is he
himself
quite-
that.
Yeah, he-
100%. Oh, so
Yeah.
he's already.
Yeah.
Quite trappy on a football pitch then.
He's
or
good. He's a good player. He'll leave a boot in.
Yeah. Mouthy.
Yeah, definitely. Like will moan to the ref, like if he gets it back a bit.
he's
So
player manager now, isn't he?
is he?
Yeah.
Oh my
He-
God.
bless him. He took so much pride in like, I'm playing manager now, obviously, and the boys look up to me, and it was quite cute.
Yeah, it's quite cute.
Yeah, it was. He was more proud to talk about that than
Yeah.
he was his own business.
Yeah. He was on my stag do, Chris. Like we've known each other a long
So
time.
it was a
and-
stag, I be.
Yeah.
Stag and wedding in Abbey.
100%. Yeah.
What do you think of Wayne Lineker?
I don't know him, so I mean, good for him. Whatever. I mean, he's a I don't know, interesting guy. He's got,
for himself.
Yeah,
though,
he's
isn't he?
living
I
life.
mean, Good luck. to
but it's
him.
the he's got his face is a bit strange.
He's messed up.
You don't know him. How can you say
Yeah.
that?
I'm gonna tap out for 5 minutes. You lot speak.
Yeah,
Everything I say.
Did you have any
Joe-
other questions for some?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
they come.
This
Can we
is-
get them off business then? Now I think we
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
off
Yeah.
business.
Do you have a headquarters?
Yeah, we got a little office. We used to fill it with agents. Obviously, we don't have any agents in the office now. So like, we were going to move, but didn't anymore. So we're like Blackheath sort of way. Everyone teases me because it's actually like the shit bit of Blackheath,
Kidbrook.
shit than that, like
Yeah,
near
okay.
Charlton. But
Where's Blackheath?
South London,
Lovely part.
Yeah.
like not the bit we're in.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll go with that though. You
Yeah.
were lucky.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well,
Cut that into like.
Where would you ideally like to be based?
Oh, we could be based anywhere, to be honest. Like because of the model, there's not that pressure really of having to be a certain way. I don't necessarily think we need to be in London. Don't want the overhead of it.
Thank you so much for coming on. What a pleasure.
Thanks for
Learned
having
a
me.
lot. You got a great business going, and hopefully a little relationship stems from this more personal.
100%.
Thank you all for watching. God bless.